All right, Wayne Bettis here, the founder of the Off the Tools podcast. I just want to introduce you to our brand new sponsor, directplumbing.supplies.com. It is founded by a former tradesman who has set up his own plumbing and heating merchants. He has an online shop, which is obviously at directplumbing.supplies.com, and he delivers across the UK. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show. Hello, welcome to the next installment of the Trades Growth Summit. Today, I have a fantastic guest, Jason Deach. He has served in 2 militaries, started a heating engineer business and moved into Forex trading. He's going to be an exciting guest. We're going to hear his journey, hear some lessons and trials and tribulations along the way. Welcome to the Trades Growth Summit.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Good. I appreciate you taking the time out your day to come and speak to me. Everything we're doing is to raise money for Help for Heroes. So Make sure that if you haven't already, you go and donate as much as you can afford. That's the aim of the game. So that's the last plug of that. So Jason, just give us a little bit of an introduction into the earlier part of your life. What you've done with regards to the military.
Yeah. So started off when I was probably 19 maybe. Can't remember my exact age. Was a troubled teenager, shall I say, or young adult, and going down the wrong path and everything. And I actually got a call from excuse me, I got a call from a friend of mine who lives in Israel, and obviously being Jewish, I have, you always have that connection to Israel, even though I'd only ever been there a couple of times on holiday. I've never really, but, we all know, it's the kind of, we'd always have a place in Israel, being Jewish sort of thing. And I got a call from a friend, and he said, why don't you come here, live with me in an area called Netanya, a beautiful area, and join the army. And I said, you know what, I think that could be good for me. And that was on a Sunday, on a Sunday evening. The following Thursday, I was on a flight to Israel, and then on the Friday, I had the meeting in Tel Aviv, and the paperwork already in the process for joining the army and getting on with it. So I just packed up.
Wow, no messing about then. You dive straight in.
Yeah, I was. I kind of knew deep down if I carried on the path I was going on, it only resulted in one or two ways, which wouldn't be good. So we have to kind of do something, and I just thought, what have I got to lose? I'll go out there and hopefully change myself, and then that kind of started off a long road to kind of a new life again, which it came with its difficulties. When I went out there, I was supposed to join the army pretty fast, and I didn't. And my friend who I was living with, he got his kind of enrollment date, which was about 4 or 5. It was supposed to be a couple of weeks before me, which was fine. Then I got a phone call when he'd already gone to say that you've been put back 6 weeks. Now, I didn't speak the language. I didn't speak Hebrew at all. I still don't really speak it that well, to be honest. And I couldn't get a job. And I've kind of was running out of money. I couldn't get in touch with my friend because one, I didn't have any credit on my phone back then, and he was out in the desert doing his trading. Signal's not the best, and running out of food. I mean, I had a roof over my head, which was better than some people in the world, and I had running water, but I was running out of food and had no way of contacting anyone. And I literally went for a walk around the local town. Just happened to bump into someone that I knew from back home who knew my family, and I managed to call him up, and my mum told him to give me £100, which in Israel back then was a lot of money. It worked out to 1,000 shekels, which back then you live like a king, which saw me through to joining the army, which also came with difficulties. One, because I didn't speak the language, at all. I didn't speak a single word of Hebrew when I went there, which they did give us lessons and stuff. But and thankfully there is a lot of Americans and English people out there. My corporal was from Canada, so he kind of helped me through it all. But yeah, going from living, I wasn't, I had a good home back here and stuff, and going out there to be joining a military, not speaking a language, getting told what to do, and if you don't listen to them, then you're getting punished, and there's nowhere to go. You can't kind of escape. If you do, you go to prison. To sleeping in a tent on a cot bed with a hole in it in the middle of winter in the desert where it's freezing cold, water dripping on your head. And I just remember lying there one night thinking, what the heck have I done? I could be at home right now causing trouble, doing what I was doing. But it makes you a man at the end of the day. When those little things, those luxuries get taken away from you, you realize what means what in life. And just having a hot shower and a warm bed and food, and and food in your belly goes a long way. And it made me realize how lucky I actually was growing up, and being naughty and getting myself into trouble and doing drugs and all that stuff. We just like, why did I do it? I didn't need to, and it was a big eye opener. And some of the stuff, some of the poverty in some of the areas that I've seen it out there, where in some areas it was a big eye opener. We don't realise how lucky we are in the UK.
I can imagine it's it's a bit different to over here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Israel in itself is a very built-up area, but when you go to some of the outer towns and you got like people that live in tent, Bedouins and things, and a lot of them choose to live like that, but it's for us. You couldn't, you wouldn't want to live in a tent in the woods. No. You just wouldn't. You might do for a week camping, but not for your life. And the troubles that you can get out there with, suicide bombers and stuff, and the whole misconception of that Jews and Arabs hate each other is not right. That's complete utter rubbish. One of my best friends from Israel is an Arab, who's in the army with me, stood next to me on patrols in guard towers and whatever we were doing. Go to Tel Aviv beach, there's Arabs all on the beach. Arabs can vote. Female Arabs, which we shouldn't really. I don't know how in this day and age we still have that thing where females in some countries can't vote and can't go to school.
Yeah, crazy.
And it's mad. But I don't know what people see in the news about Israel, but it's a beautiful country, some beautiful sights. But yeah, it changed my life, changed my outlook on life, that's for sure.
So how long was you in the Israeli army then?
I was there for 2 years. They have like a minimum, so volunteer. So out there, females have to do 2 years, male have to do 3 years. But when you volunteer, like I was, you just do 2. Which was,
because for people that live there, it's mandatory, isn't it?
Mandatory, yeah.
I've forgotten the word. What did they used to call it here?
I forgot the word myself now.
Something service, isn't it? National service.
Yeah. Which I think this country could do with bringing it back in, to be honest.
I think there definitely is room for something like that, isn't there? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean.
So after your 2 years then in Israel, can you speak Hebrew and that now, or is it just bits and bobs?
It's been over 10 years since I was there in the army, and I've only been back once for my wife's uncle's wedding, so I don't speak it. I mean, a lot of my wife's family all speak it, and a lot of I live in a very Jewish area in Manchester, and a lot of the people do speak it, and I understand a lot more than I can speak. So one of the restaurants here, I know the guy that owns it quite well, and he speaks to me in Hebrew, and I speak back to him in English. He speaks fluent English, but every time I go in there to get a bite to eat, he'll ask me how I am and what I'm up to, all in Hebrew, and I'll just reply all in English, and I don't know why, because I could reply in Hebrew. It's just that it's very broken. It's you've got the syllable, you have like male and female, so what I would say to you, if I said the exact same thing to a woman, it'd be slightly different because of the way the language is. And that's where I kind of got confused. I'd be speaking to a woman all in a masculine way. But yeah,
it's good that you got you can understand it though. Like, that's,
yeah. I mean,
that's half the battle, isn't it?
I can go to Israel and get around. I can ask for directions and understand. I can ask how much things are and kind of express what I need to say. The problem that you got is that everyone wants to speak English. So everyone in there who I was in the army with, once they leave the army, a lot of them go traveling for a little bit because they get enlisted at 18 and they're out when they're 21. So it's good. What we do in this country between 18 and 21, we're partying and getting hammered. Out there, they're partying a little bit, but then I know they get a weekend off every couple of weeks. They get a weekend off, and then they're back on military duty. So they all want to learn English because you can travel the world as long as you know English. You can pretty much go anywhere because someone always speaks English wherever you are.
Yeah. So were they trying to talk to you in English then, where you wanted them to speak to you in Hebrew to learn that side?
Exactly. So they would literally speak English to me, and I'd be like, I want to speak Hebrew to you. Like, no, forget that. Let's speak English. So yeah.
So after that section of your life, then, did you just come back to the UK, and then what happened next? Where did?
So I left there. I came back to the UK. It's a hard life in Israel, and to make, I've got a lot of family, like my wife's family live out there, and it's not an easy life, for wages and things like that. And for me, I just couldn't see me building an actual life out there. So I came home, potted around for a couple of years, I did some sales jobs. I actually joined the Royal Marines and fractured both my feet and ended up leaving.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
I fractured both my feet and ended up I was in rehab for ages, and then I got back into. I only had like 5 weeks left of training, and then I got back into training, and then my feet went again, and the thought of going through all the rehab again, I just thought no, I just didn't want to do it, and it's part of the time that I'd like to forget about because I see that as I failed at the end of the day, whether it's my feet or not, I still failed.
Yeah.
Then I ended up taking some sales jobs and stuff, and it just wasn't for me. And I just thought, I enjoyed being a soldier, and like the actual soldiering, I enjoyed it. And at the time, you had all like Iraq going on and Afghanistan going on. And as much as it sounds crazy, like I wanted to go out there and do my and get involved with it all. And I remember I had a job, the sales job, that was a temporary position, but they were offering full time to one person. And then there was me and another guy, and my closure rate was we were basically exactly the same. And they gave him the job because he was older, which didn't make sense to me really. I said to him, but he's older, so he's obviously gone from job to job to job. So you're going to give him a job, but there's more chance of leaving. Whereas I'm younger and I want to earn and start building a career. And after that, it kind of thought, you know what? I went into Manchester, where the office is not there anymore, where the recruitment office was. I just walked in and just joined the army. So I want to join the army. Joined the army. Took a few months to get in. And
was it more complicated because you had served in Israel as well, or does that not really make any difference? Does it?
Yeah, I had to get all my discharge papers translated because you have to do reserve duty in Israel until you're 40. But because I don't live there, I'm exempt to it because I'm not going to fly out there once a year for 2 weeks to do reserve duty. It just wouldn't, and it also I don't know if it would cause complication with the government, but I just had to get all my discharge papers translated into English, and that was it. And then once I had all that done, that all got checked and they were happy with that. It was just the normal process that everyone else went through. And then I joined the army. I joined the infantry, 2 ranks, Duke Lancaster Regiment, which is a Northwest Infantry Regiment, which was good. I mean, the training. The truth is that I didn't really train that hard when I rejoined, and because I'd been in the Marine training, and the point I was at in Marine training was already at the point of completion of the infantry training. So in my head, I thought, it'll be easy. Now I always struggled carrying weight. I'm small and I should have built up my legs a bit and whatever, but I didn't. but I breezed through the training pretty much.
Yeah.
Because I knew it, I kind of knew it all. I knew how to use a weapon system. So when they were teaching me how to use a weapon system, I already knew it, and it was kind of boring because I knew it. And I got into a bit of trouble with the Sergeant Major, which everyone sees him as a big scary person when you're in training. I mean, they can be rude and they can make your life hell, to be fair, Sergeant Majors. And he called me into his office and he was like, you're not putting the required effort in and stuff. He goes, you're not failing because you're passing all your tests, because obviously you've done what you've done in Marine training and what you've done in Israel, and you kind of know it, but you need to put more effort in. And I was just like, but it's very difficult to act like you're learning something when you've already know it. To pay attention, sit there and pay attention to a lesson when you know it is difficult. But I managed to get out of training, went to battalion, and met some great people. The one thing I like about the army is that it doesn't matter what background you're from. You could be from the hardest, toughest parts of the country, or you could be in one of the most well-off places in the country, and your family could be all multimillionaires and live a life, happily ever after. When you're in the army, you're all the same. And
level playing field.
Yeah, when in training, you all have the same haircuts. You all wear this, you all wear uniform. When you're not in uniform, you got a tracksuit that you wear. You're all equal. You're all the same. Your locker has to look like my locker. My locker can't be different just because I maybe come from a better area than you do, or you come from a better area than me. It doesn't mean that you can have the knife and fork that we eat with are the same. Yeah. Everything has to be the same. And and when you do things together as a unit. You're not on your own. You've always got help and backup. And if you're struggling, you're only as strong as your weakest member. And you're all there to help and pick people up and get on with it. And that goes throughout the whole time of the army. Yeah, there's banter, and the banter is brutal, which as tradesmen, obviously there's a hell of a lot of tradesmen that are in the army and kind of bring that banter onto building sites and stuff. And it's not for the faint-hearted. Especially being Jewish, and you can imagine some of the stuff that gets floated around. But none of it is in kind of jest. And if someone kind of stepped out of line, then they'd be told and they'd apologise, and that'll be it. Nothing ever gets held against each other, because when you're in moments of when you're all piss wet through and it's raining and you're cold and whatever, if someone just takes the mick and cracks a joke to get everyone laughing, and even if it's at your expense, then let it be. Get a bit of morale going.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how long was you in the infantry?
I just did 4 years. Did my time. I met a week before I went to basic training. I met a girl who's now my wife. And we went after deploy. I went to Afghanistan, and after that we got engaged and stuff. And we went. They told us we weren't going to go deploy anywhere again. Then we went to the Falklands, and then went to Kenya, and we were supposed to be moving to Cyprus for 2 years, which didn't actually happen in the end. But at the time when I was in, it was like, we're moving to Cyprus, and that was it. And my wife said to me, I'm not going to come to Cyprus with you. All my family's here. I don't want to live on a military camp because we could get married accommodation. A job's here, family's here. I'm not gonna go. So I made the decision to end up leaving the army because my marriage was, more important than that. And I've seen a lot of marriages break down in the army. And people that were in a lot longer than me, and the marriages are broke down and stuff. Because you're away, you belong to the army. The army tell you to go somewhere. If you're at home and on your weekend and they call you up and you've got to come in for something, then you've got to go. And if you don't, you get it could just be a weekend duty or fine, or you could end up there going to military prison in Colchester. They own you. They own your life until you're out. You have no say in what you do. You could book a holiday, but if they need you, unless they say you booked a holiday, you've paid the money, you can go. If not, you're losing that money and you're doing what they tell you to. Or you go on your holiday, and when you come back, you go to Colchester for however long, the military prison, which means you don't get paid, which means your bills don't get paid and stuff like that. So they've got you. Which is great. Some people love it, and people do 20, 30 years in the army, which is fine. But I couldn't really see me doing that long. So I just made the decision: is it, is it worth me? As I was getting older as well, is it worth me risking my marriage, to sustain the army? And I thought no.
So once you made that decision to leave, then what was the next steps? How did you sort of become a gas engineer?
So
what was the steps that sort of unraveled there?
So when you leave, you get time to do courses and to try and help the transition to civilian life again. And I thought, what could I do? I didn't get, a lot of the lads get driving qualifications for HGVs, but I never went on the courses. I thought I could do that, but then I was thinking, but I'm going to be away all the time, and the whole point of it is that I don't want to be away all the time.
Yeah.
And I thought I didn't like the idea of driving like long journeys or stuck in traffic, going out your mind. And then I heard someone. I was thinking about trade. I was actually thinking about being a sparky at the time. But then I heard someone, a mate of mine, went on a gas course, and I didn't really know anything. I never really picked a spanner up in my life, really. Except, well, my granddad's a carpenter, like old school carpenter, and I'd done a little bit in his workshop when I was a kid. But otherwise, I've never done anything. Didn't know what an isolation valve was or anything like that. I found out the course, which is Brookhouse. I did Brookhouse in near Leeds, and I thought, what have I got to lose, and I managed to.
Did the army fund this,
they put, depending on how long you've been in, you get X amount. So they put like $1,000 towards it, and then I had to find the rest, which I managed. When you deploy anywhere, you get bonuses and stuff. So when I went to Kenya, any bonus I got, I put away, and then I borrowed a bit of money from my mum to make up the rest of it. And I did the course, and then I got lucky, people, because it's still no guarantee you're going to get a job. And as you know, you're definitely not good enough to start going out working on gas appliances after you've done something like that. And I was asking around, and I seen like an ad for a job, and it turned out that it was someone who's married to a girl that my brother went to school with, and I went to school with her brother, so I knew his brother-in-law. So when we got chatting, I said to him, listen, I just left the army. I know it's kind of like I'm still new, but I'm not young. I'm not an idiot. I'm willing to learn. And he took a chance and took me on. And just threw me. Well, I started just doing gas safeties for him because he had like loads of gas safeties to do. But then sometimes I was getting there, as you know, they don't tell you, and the boiler broke down. So he was like, have a go at fixing it, give it a go. If you struggle, give me a call or call the manufacturer up and ask them. And I just got on with it, and then I ended up leaving him after about a year. He actually turned around and said to me, I know you want to work for yourself eventually, and you're good enough. He couldn't really offer me any more money than what he was giving me, and he was quite honest about it, and said, you're ready to go. I mean, we still speak quite a lot. He's actually learning how to trade forex as well at the minute. I'm helping him out with that. In fact, I need to drop him a message, see how he's getting on. So yeah, he said, crack on, and I left there, and I ended up moving to doing a lot of refurb work and stuff like that, fitting bathrooms and things. And then COVID came along, and ruined all that. Because I was relatively new-ish in my own business when COVID came. So when you're trying to build up a pipeline of work, all of a sudden,
it must have been very difficult for like fledgling businesses then.
Yeah.
I was an established business, so touch wood, it went quite smoothly. If anything, it was a good year.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if you were fairly young, it must have been a bit more difficult.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard because I did a couple of things beforehand, but then I kind of had a direction. I set up a new business. This is what I was going to do. I was going to be doing installs and bathrooms and kitchens and things. So I had it all website built. I built the website, had advertising going out, but then all of a sudden COVID came, the pipeline that I had, a lot of them were cancelling because some of them are elderly, and rightly so. They were a little bit paranoid of people coming to houses, and then you couldn't really get materials. And what materials people had, prices. Some of the people were putting the prices up on them and whatever, and taking advantage. And I was thinking, I managed to get a bit of work with a builder actually, that tied me over. But I wasn't on the tools at the time because I was concentrating on getting the work in, and I did have work, but then it kind of stopped. And I managed to get a bit of work with this builder doing some plumbing up some big houses that me and my mate went and did. But I was thinking, like, when this runs out, what am I going to do? And he, his pipeline was slowing up a little bit, partly because you couldn't get plastering things. And it's like, we can't do anything. I can, you can't do it. You can't get deliveries. And I seen a thing in one of the plumbing groups about trading forex, and I've always kind of heard about
that. Brings us on to what is now like the newest chapter of your life. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, so it's been I love it now. I really, really enjoy it. I'm in a trade at the minute, which was in the minus, but you can't win all. I don't know what it could be up now, but you can't win them all.
Can you explain what forex is though before we carry on? Just so people are clear on what forex is.
If you've ever been on holiday that doesn't, not in England, somewhere that needs euros or dollars or whatever the currency might be, you've taken part in forex, in the foreign exchange. It's just the exchange of money. But what you can do is, if you say, for example, now you go on holiday and you change £100 into euros, and you get 110 euros for it, right? So because the euro is stronger, so you've got more for your money. But when you're away, when you come back, the pound shot up, and you didn't spend a penny for whatever reason. And when you come back, your £100 is now £110 because it's gone. The value of the pound's gone up. So that there is taking part in the forex markets pretty much, and that's just by exchanging money. So what you can do is you have charts, which you can see. You got called candle charts, Japanese candle charts, which is a very popular way of doing analysis. And you can look at a currency. They all have patterns in the way the banks move. And institutions, big institutions like you got like JP Morgan, big hedge funds. And I'm not talking I'm talking. They've got multi-millions, some of them billions of pounds, that they move money in the markets, and they move it in certain ways. In a way, they do. It is kind of manipulated for them. But when you learn it as a skill, you can see that the pound is going to, say you look at it, say, for example, you're looking at the pound and the Japanese yen, which is a trade that I'm in at the minute. You can see that that's in that kind of like, it's uptrending. So it's going up, the pound's pushing it up. And it takes, you've got to learn that, there's a lot of things to learn, and candles and trends and stuff. But, you can make money off the back of it. So you could, your risk to reward, with the risk to reward, you can make good money, very good money. And like anything, people think it's a scam because, one, you can lose money, and you can lose a hell of a lot of money very quick, but that's where your risk to reward comes into play. You have to keep it a minimum of 1 to 2, because you could lose, out of 10 trades, you could lose 5 and win 5 and still be at break even. And unfortunately, there is a lot of companies out there that offer you bots and give you signals, and the signals are crap and whatever, and they take your money off you, like charging like £5,000 to do a course, which is a load of rubbish. And like anything, you get cowboy builders, you get crap plumbers. And unfortunately, because the alert of trading forex is so big because of the gains you can make on it, and you see these guys on Instagram driving Lamborghinis and in the big houses and all that type of stuff. So yeah, they might have that, and it might very well be from forex, but they might have been doing it 20 years, and for the first 15 years, they might have struggled. But what we have is, a team of people where all pretty much tradesmen. Now there is other people in there that aren't tradesmen, because you got people, their friends that they want to bring in and stuff like that. That we're all just learning together, and it's just a great team people.
So back to that bit about people thinking it's a scam and things like that. So to put it into context, you probably know this better than me, but like you've got like the London Stock Exchange, you've got the New York Stock Exchange, you know, all these different stock exchanges. Forex is like overall massive. Is like 10 times any stocks and shares or something like that, isn't it? It's like the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the exact numbers, but is it something like 5 billion is traded every day? Like in the Forex market to something like 200 million on the stock exchange.
There's such a big chasm between the two.
Yeah, it's huge. And if you can take a little piece of that pie, then why not? And you know, I'm in a trade right now that was losing last time, but I have a stop loss set. So on this particular trade, I'll risk 1%, right? So, but so if that loses, I'm 1% down for the day. I only prefer to take one trade a day pretty much. I'm not the type of guy that gets into 5 trades and all this. I tried to pick one setup in a day, and some days I didn't trade yesterday. Some days I didn't trade. You know, if I lose that 1%,
is that down to just the opportunity not presenting itself? So you're not just going to start swinging at crap.
Yeah, well, Mondays can be notoriously a bad day to trade. I mean, plenty of people out there make very good money on a Monday. Don't get me wrong, but when I write down in my trading journal, and Mondays is usually a bad day for me, and Monday can be the markets can move and do false moves because it's when everything opens up. Everything opens on a Sunday night, like 10 o'clock Sunday night. But on a Monday, the money's being moved. Players are, the big players are putting the money in. So I kind of like to watch the market on a Monday, and then before I go to bed at like 10 o'clock Monday night, I'll spend an hour on my charts marking them all up and setting alarms, for example, for where I think the market's going to go, depending on what I see. Now, I'm not right all the time, it's just like anything, you can have a mess up on a job, which can cost you a little bit. Everyone's done it. Put a foot through a ceiling, or you've cut the wrong pipe, or or you've ended up. I mean, I know someone that he ended up piping a radiator into the hot and cold in a house, and he was driving home. And then kind of twigged in his head. Hold on a minute. I don't know why he thought. All of a sudden, he thought he'd turn around, went back, and then was there for hours. Again, draining. It wasn't a small house even, and this radiator happened to be right in the basement, and had to mess around. And then he just thought, I don't know why he realised what he did, but that cost him. That cost him. That job was basically he didn't make a penny on that job. And that's what happens with trading. You lose a trade, you're not made a penny on that one, but the next one, as long as if you're risking a minimum 1 to 2, so for every 1 year you're risking, you're making 2 back at a minimum. Then if you lose 1, but the next one you're making 2, then you're not losing, are you?
Yeah.
And it is a lot of it's mindset. Mindset is absolutely massive because it's so emotional. If you're looking, I've learned the hard way, and believe me, I've learned the hard way. I've lost money, but it's like anything. When you learn how to be a gas engineer or whatever trade you're in, you didn't open up a boiler and know what to do. The first time I looked in the boiler, I didn't know what the fan was. I didn't know what the gas valve was, what the PRV was, or anything. But then you had one lesson. And then I was like, well, that's the fan, that's the gas valve. And then you have another lesson, then you learn how to take it apart. And then you have another lesson, then you know how to diagnose it. And then, but even still after those lessons, you forget. So you've got to go back, and because you repeat it, and because you keep doing it, you learn it. And it's exactly the same thing with trading. You do have demo accounts, which is exactly like market conditions, so you can take trades and not risk your own money. But obviously, everyone wants to make money, so they all rush in and put your own money into it, and then they lose a bit, and then they go back onto your demo account and think, right, I'll go onto my demo. I've lost $1,000 now. I'll go on my demo until I'm consistent. And you can use a demo account, which is exactly the same as a live account, just fake money, and learn how to trade. some people do stick with a live account and kind of use like they might risk £1 on a trade just so it is real money, because the mindset can be a little bit different when you know the money is not real. But I kind of got in my head now that once I click the button, the money's gone. It's not my money. It belongs to the markets. And, you know, if my analysis is correct, great, I'll be in profit. If it isn't, then, you know, I'll lose a trade, and that's it. You know, move on to the next one. Even maybe have a look again later that day, see if anything pops up. But if not, go again the next day, and that's it, pretty much.
And is this knowledge that you've gained from training, as in, like you mentioning, like the 1% that's your risk tolerance, you know? So these rules, like, you know, forget whether it's Forex or whatever you might be doing, you know, having structure to what you do is important, isn't it? Like,
you have to have structure. And do you know what? I went through a bad patch, right? And my wife said to me, you know, when you're in the army, you had that discipline. You know, you know, you didn't start unloading your rifle when you weren't supposed to. You didn't, you know, your drills were taking your rifle out, putting it back together. It was all disciplined, all in a certain manner. So why is your trading not that way? And I said, you know what, you're 100% correct. And you need to have a trading plan. Now I've got a whiteboard up here, which has got my reason for entry, the pairs that I like to trade, the news channels that I should be watching, because, you know, a lot of it can, you know, you can kind of gauge things from things like Bloomberg News, not the normal BBC news that tell you that Pat down the road crashed the car the other day. Do you know what I mean? Like Bloomberg News, which tells you the stock exchange. And even if, you know, I don't understand a lot of it still, because, you know, it's all, you know, big money talk with big companies that I've never heard of and stuff. But you can see how, you know, I pick up little things to say, oh, the pound this, and it could get weakened, and I can have a look at the charts and I can see, yeah, you know, it could, you know, and I can see how that news affects it, and it plays all a part in it. You know, so I'll have that. I have my chart set up, how I want my chart to look, my reasons of why I'll take a trade. If the reasons don't meet those reasons, you don't have to tick all of them, but at least I've got 5 reasons and I need to tick at least 3 of them.
Yeah.
Before I enter the trade. But I've also got reasons why not to enter trades. So if anything is like what I see it as a reason not to enter, then I stay away. Now the reason why I enter trade,
that takes some discipline, doesn't it? You know,
to
stick to this structure.
It does, and it's taken me a bit of time to do that. And you know, the trade this morning, maybe I rushed into it a little bit too quick, but it ticked the boxes. So if it loses and it ticks my boxes, obviously you can analyze it and be like, that is why it lost, but it did tick my boxes. And now you're not going to be, you know, just because it ticks all your boxes doesn't mean it's going to win 100% of the time. Yeah. You know, if you can be even 60% right in this game, you can make a lot of money. And there is firms out there that people might have heard, like FTMO and things like that will give you funds once you pass a test. You know, you can get large accounts with them, which then can help boost your earnings quite quickly. So
is this are you trading now full time? Is this what you do now?
That's what I do now, yeah.
So you've gone from ex-infantry to tradesman to trader.
Pretty much. It kind of, excellent. You know, I never thought I would be into doing something. I've heard of Forex years and years ago, and again I've seen the Lamborghinis and things, and I heard about all these scams and stuff, and I thought, but then when the lockdown came and it got put into the, you know, I seen a link into the group, which was from another plumber, and he wasn't asking for £5,000 off me. You know, it was signed up, it cost this monthly, you can cancel it whenever you want. And I thought, well, I'll spend more than that in a night out, and I can't go on a night out now anyway because everything's shut. So I'll take the chance on it. If I don't like it after a month, I can cancel it and you know, not look back. You know, at first it was like looking at something from the Matrix because I didn't have a clue what was going on. But now when I look at it, I can see the story it's telling me. And again, like I said, I don't get it right 100% of the time. You know, but when I do get it right, those wins massively outweigh the loss because I'm only losing 1%. But on a win, I could be winning, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5% on the winning trades.
I think it's Warren Buffett, isn't it, about limiting the downside with uncapped like good side. Yeah, exactly. That's like the perfect scenario. You always limit that downside.
You know, I think I listened to something from Warren Buffett last week, and he said, you know, he's had days where he's lost millions, but that's that's what happens, you know, and that's what happens when you invest. And if you invest in stock, you know, if you're investing in stocks, you know, it goes up and down, and you can't, you know, sometimes you might have one bad investment that you've lost £1,000 on, but your next investment you've made £3,000 on, so you've made your money back and you've made £2,000 on top of it. So it's all about your risk to reward, and you know, and you do have to, you know, one of the reasons why people fail is, one, because they're not part of a group. Trying to learn forward by yourself can be very, very difficult, because there'll be a point where there's something you just don't understand and you've got no one to ask. And the only way you can learn is by asking people. You know, you learn to be a plumber by asking.
Peer-to-peer learning is like, Adam Chapman from Heat Geek told me this stat. It's like proven, like I can't remember the percentage, but it's the best way to learn is by asking and discussing with people that are on the same journey.
You know, and it goes back to even in the army. We all learn it together. Yeah. So if someone was struggling, you could ask, right, can you help me out with that? And what we do weekly Zoom calls. We do one. I mean, I'm doing a one-to-one Zoom call with someone tonight to help them out with a couple of things. I'm doing one tomorrow night to help someone write a trading plan for themselves. He says, I need a trading plan. I don't know where to start with it. Can you help me? Yeah. We'll jump on a Zoom and we'll get some stuff written down, and then then it's down to you to. I know I can't make you follow it, but you know, I can help.
And do you know that that's the best for you personally as well? Teaching what you know, do you know, is amazing for you as well, because it starts to drill it in to become habitual in you, you know. It's similar to like what I've done with Off the Tools. Created a place where people can ask questions about business, you know.
Exactly, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And you know, to help, you know, to get a message from someone, and don't get me wrong, there's other traders in the group that are better than me, and some of them who do help a lot more than I do. But I help what I can and do what I can do. And if people are struggling, if I can answer the question, I'll answer it. If I can't, then I don't know that I can't. Some people have, you know, trade a different strategy, so what they might see as a trade, I might not see it as a trade, because I'm waiting for a bit of it. You know, because there's hundreds of strategies that you can do, and they all work. You know, you just have to find. That's another issue, is that people go from strategy to strategy. Find one that you like, stick to it. You know, it's like me and you could have exactly the same house, but I might plumb it different to you. It doesn't mean you're right and I'm wrong. It just means that I've done it a bit different to you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly the same with Forex. You know, you might, you know, look at the chart a bit differently, but as long as you're winning trades, then it's not wrong. You know, if you've found an edge that suits you and your kind of personality a little bit, you know, then you know, as long as you're winning trades and your risk to reward's correct, and you know, then crack on.
See, for me, you know, I've dabbled in and out of shares, stocks, Forex for the last probably six years. It started from a customer of mine. He you know, he was always at home whenever I'd go around there, and it intrigued me. You know, this probably 6-7 years ago, and he was into Forex, and he did. God, what's the German money? I've forgotten now.
Oh, it was euros now, but don't know what it was.
Yes, sorry, maybe it's not Forex. He does.
Is it the
DAX?
Like the Darwin stuff. What's the German? I don't know. I can't remember what the German was. I trade a little bit of the Dow, but it's very volatile.
Yeah. And I just learned, so I invested in some courses and got taken by a few sharks along the way as well. You know, as like anything, there's always people out there trying to grab what they can. But I just realised that I'm changing now, but back then definitely, you know, I was just too impulsive. So I would throw money in way too early. I'd pull money out too quickly and not follow any sort of rules. I would just go with my gut, which, you know, is the first mistake, you know, and the biggest mistake, isn't it?
I used to have the big issue with the issue I used to have was that I was happy to let my trade hit my stop loss. So I was happy for my trade, say I'm risking £100. I was happy to lose that £100. But when my trade was up, I'd close it out. So when it got to like £100, I'd be like, I need to take the profit. But then again, with your risk to reward, it wasn't working because I was losing £100. And when it was getting to £100 profit, I was thinking, oh wait, I need, and I was pulling it out. So my winning trades weren't, I wasn't letting them ride. Well, don't get me wrong, sometimes you do the right thing to pull it out, and there's telltale signs that you look at it and think, right, I should pull it out. This one that I was in before, it was halfway to my stop loss. The reason why I've not pulled it out is because I still believe it will go up. It very well might take me out and then go up. I don't know. I could be out of it right now.
How long, on average, are you in a trade? Is it done and dusted in a day normally, or does it go overnight?
I'm usually in and out in a day, within a couple of hours. Depends on the setup.
Yeah,
completely depends. I don't really like leaving trades overnight, just because I know I'll end up like getting up in the night and checking on it and stuff like that, which I don't want to do. But it depends. It all depends how much I'm up, because you can take partials. So say it's a 1 to 10 trade risk to reward, and it comes to 8-9 o'clock at night, and it's halfway there. You can move your stop loss to break even, and then take some money off the table. Say you take like £500, for example, off the table. Your stop loss is at break even. So either way, you're not going to lose anything, and you've made 500 no matter what. Then leave it for the night. You've got no risk. You've made 500 no matter what. Which if that's the case, it's a fantastic day anyway. Not many people can make 500 in a day. Or even
so for anyone dabbling at the moment in this sort of, or looking to dabble in this, what sort of advice would you sort of give if it was their early days? What would you start with?
Come join our team.
As simple as that.
Yeah, because you won't find, you will not find another group of people who are willing to help and give up their free time the way we do. And I've had numerous one-to-ones to help me out from people who I've never met. There's only my brother signed up, my old boss is signed up, and one of the guys I was in the army with is signed up. Apart from that, I've met one of the lads who lives not far from me, and I had a round of golf with him the other week. But apart from that, I have not. There's 300 people in our team. I've not met any of them. I literally, except my brother, who unfortunately I've met him a few times, and my old boss, and this lad, and obviously the guys I'm out with. 4 people out of pretty much 300.
The rest are just random internet friends,
and some of them, one of them I speak to him on the phone every day, and not even about trading. I've called, he works in sites down south. He got a managerial job on sites. I just call him up in the morning, ask him what he's having a brew in the mornings. When I walk the dog in the morning, I know he's having a brew. I give him a call, and we have a chat, and we'll talk. Maybe we might talk about the charts, but ask each other how we're doing it and whatever. And I built friendships with people who I can imagine I'll always be friendly with now, who I've never met before. And I speak to these people every day. And, sometimes when, I won't mention names because it's not fair for me to mention the name, but one of the guys who is going through a bit of a rough patch and stuff, and I just messaged him saying, you can do it, just get the mindset right, stop being so impulsive. You're winning trades or winning, to stop jumping into another trade. You don't need to and stuff. And he's finally getting there, and he messaged me saying, thanks for sticking by me. I said, I'm just dropping you a message in the morning, but you don't realize how far that can go. We've got
especially with, I think being part of any group is important, because it's quite isolating as well, especially, with your army background, you've been used to being in a group, then going self-employed, working for yourself. You're out on your own, aren't you?
I actually found that. In fact, it wasn't even when I took the job on with my old boss. I went from being with a platoon of lads every day to being out doing gas safeties on my own all day. And at first it was really difficult. I just felt something was missing, because I was just on my own all day. And as much, I had a job and I was getting paid and I should be grateful for it, but I was bored. And then once I ended up leaving him and set my own business up and stuff, and I had people working with me and I was on site with people and whatever, it was so much better, because you can have a laugh and talk to people and not be on your own. And now to be part of the trading team, to not be on your own, if you're unsure about something, you can post, people post the charts up. You could go and draw your chart up tonight, for example. We've got a Discord channel. where you just post it in and go, lads, what do you think of this? And people give their opinion. You know, that's all it is though, their opinion. You know, don't mean you might be wrong, but they might see something and you think, oh, do you know what? Yeah, I actually prefer that or whatever, and help each other out. You know, a lot of us end up taking the same trades because we kind of learn the same way and stuff. And sometimes we lose together, sometimes we win together, sometimes they pulled out a bit earlier or they've gotten late and it's hit the stop or whatever. But we're all there to pick each other up and help each other out. And we just want everyone to succeed with it, because I think a lot of the lads, especially since COVID came, and you know, some people, you know, breathed through COVID, not a problem. Others struggled. Some of them worked for people and got furloughed. And I think they kind of realised that, you know, you don't know what can be around the corner.
This so-called safe job that these people had ain't so safe, is it?
Exactly. And the one thing that didn't stop during COVID was the forex market, because it doesn't stop. You know, unless we get rid of currency, which will never happen, because, you know, we will never have a worldwide one currency because of trade. How are we going to, you know, everything can't be equal. Just not how it is. And, you know, there's always going to be a top and there's always going to be a bottom. And that's just unfortunately the way life goes. And not everyone can make it in life, you know, but we can give it a good go. And that's what the lads are trying to do. And a lot of them, you know, who work on site, and even for me, my knees are quite bad. My lower back's quite bad. And I just figured, is this what you know, unless I do really, really well, you know, the odds are I'm going to be working when I'm 60, 65 years old, being a plumber. And is that really what I want to do? And I thought, no. And then when COVID came, and then this opportunity came, I thought, this is the best opportunity I've got to make some money that I couldn't imagine. And it's not even about making massive, massive money. You know, as long as my bills are covered every month, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong, it'd be nice to be making 20, 30, 40 grand a month. And, you know, if that's what you want to do with Forex, you can go and do it. You just have to put the time and the effort in and study it and be disciplined, you know. But ultimately, if you're happy, you know, if you only need 2 grand a month on to survive, you know, if once you learn a skill, you could easily go out there and make 2 grand a month on to pay your bills and survive and get by. If that's kind of what you need every month from what you're taking home from your job. And I think people are just now realizing that, you know, you can do it from anywhere in the world as long as you've got internet connection. You're not restricted. And you know, what happens if COVID or anything else comes again now, and all of a sudden work stops? What am I going to do? And they're giving it a go, and we're happy to, you know, help. And if people want to help, we constantly put out in the chats, you know, ask us for help if you need help. What you're struggling with, let us know. We don't, you know, just leave you to it. And if someone needs help, you know, drop one of us a message, and we'll get on with you. Do a Zoom like we're doing now, and, you know, share my screen. Or get them to share their screen, and you tell me what you're thinking, and I'll say, and then I'll tell them what I'm thinking afterwards, and hopefully all you know, all grow and learn together and build something.
So for anyone that's watching this, you know, and thinking, do you know what, do you know, I'd like to learn a little bit more about this, and maybe see if it's something that they could be interested. Just so we're very clear, you know, nothing we've said has been financial advice. You know, we're not saying this is right for you or wrong for you. It's just
of course.
We're exploring Jason's journey, and Forex is a big part of his life.
It is 100% not for everyone. If you're a heavy gambler, then Forex is not for you, because you will just gamble your money away. You know, there's a fine line between it becoming trading and between it being gambling. You know, it's technical analysis. And if you're just looking at a candle, for example, and it's an up candle, and you're just going to go put a buy in there because that candle's happened to go up, that's gambling. You know, and there's a very fine line, and people need to, know you as an individual. If you're gambling, you can't be disciplined, then trading just won't work for you. Because as much as we can help you out, we can't stop you from pressing the buttons, and we can't stop you from taking. I can't tell. If I tell you, Wayne, don't take that trade, it's going to be a losing trade. Please don't take it, but you take it anyway. I can't stop you from taking that trade. And so it isn't for everyone. But again, like you say, you can.
Where can they go though? Where can they go if they feel it is for them?
We have a trial page called what's it called now? I forgot. Tradesmen to Forex Trial Group on Facebook, cool. Which you can join, and we post stuff. We post charts in there. Sometimes we used to do loads of Q&As, but we do Zooms in there sometimes, so you can come and jump on one of our Zoom sessions. And we do have Discord channel that you can pay to be a part of. Everything costs, and there is a cost. There's a cost of learning. You don't go to college for free to learn how to be a plumber.
Yeah.
There is a cost to it, and you can come and join our Discord. We have an offer on £1 a day, £30 for the month, where you can come, and it's actually been quite successful that because we knew there was a lot of people, because with the cost it does for the monthly fee, people are a bit hesitant. So we thought, well, we've got the Discord, but we're giving up our time, and it takes time to manage. So we opened up £30 for the month, and a lot of the people that are paying the £30 for the month, they're in there for a month for free. Well, not for free, for £30, and they're joining the actual main team in like 2-3 days when they see the help that they're getting and everything, and seeing what it's actually like, and realizing that it's not. And obviously, a lot of the tradesmen in there, people who were a bit skeptical about it now, when they see that their mate is joining, and it's like, well, if my mate's joining it and he's not going to rip me off, or I like to think he's not going to rip me off.
Yeah.
And again, if you do join the main team, if you leave, you leave. If someone who I speak to leaves, I will drop them a message. Is there a reason why you're leaving? Is it because and we will try our best. If you're falling a bit of a hard time or whatever, and you want to, and whatever, and say, I don't know, if you're getting a divorce or anything like that, and whatever, then we'll keep you. We'll say what we'll do. We'll keep you in for a couple of months anyway, and try and help you out, because we're not going to kick someone when they're down. Because that's just not who we are as people, and it's not why we do it. We want to help people, and we have a whole mindset thing in there where we post stuff, even just YouTube links and mindset things, and we do a Zoom call every now and again and discuss our mindset, and even and if you're struggling with anything, even in your personal lives, people are reaching out and discussing it, because the majority in there are guys. There are a lot of females in there, but as you know, and especially within the military community, and there's a lot of us who are tradesmen now. We battle things up, and Help for Heroes will help with people with PTSD and stuff like that. And don't bottle things up. You've got to get it out there, and no one's going to be saying to you that you're not a man because you're speaking about it. And unfortunately for me, in my military career, I've lost friends to suicide and stuff like that, which Help for Heroes will help people out that are struggling. And if our mindset section in our team, if someone posts in there that they're having a rough time at home, or they've had a rough time, or they've had a big job that's fallen through, they don't know what they're going to do, or if someone can help out, the chances are someone else has gone through that experience and have come out the other side of it. So again, if we can help people, not just for trading, but to get the mind right and help, especially as guys, because guys, we have the highest suicide rate. It's between what is it, like 18 and 45 or something. That's right. It's males that with the suicide rate, and in the tradesman community, we've seen, unfortunately, I think in the past year we've seen quite a few, and it's something that we, hopefully as a team, we're giving people a bit of happiness, and you might lose a little bit of money. Money comes, money goes, but we're a tight knit unit, and we're there to support and help each other out. There is quite a few ex-military who were tradesmen in our team as well. In fact, the guy I was in the army with is also a tradesman now as well. I think it was aircon. I think. We're there.
Cool. I'll put if you send me the link, I'll make sure that the link to the groups in and around this video in the summit. So I think a big takeaway from towards the end there was like how important mindset is for everything, though. Like you're obviously talking about trading right now, but your mindset must have had to been right when you was in Israel, and you was joining and somewhere where you hadn't learned the language, and then when you come back to the UK and join the military, mindset is so powerful, isn't it? It's
you
make
don't,
or break of people.
And I've only really it's only really since I started trading that I've actually started looking into mindset, because I never really thought about it. But mindset is massive, and if you're running a business as a tradesman, and you're the boss and people are looking up for you, and especially when everything's great when things are going your way, it's when things are going wrong where you get tested, and that's where mindset is so big. And to be positive, I try and be positive every day. I try and wake up with a smile on my face and be happy, because if you start your day happy, if you wake up in the morning and stump your toe, that day ends up going to shit, and that day, because you stumped your toe, and that's just how your day starts off. So I try and be happy and have a mindset where, like with this trade, for example, I could get off this call now and I've lost it. I'm down 1%. I think, well, you know what, this afternoon or tomorrow, I'll take a trade and you know what, it'll come back to me. You can't let things phase you. And, and also, again, it's all about having people around you where you can speak to, and speaking to people and not bottling things up. When I went through a rough patch in trading, I had people who I speak to who are a bit more on a personal level within the team. And although you can do it, pick yourself up, you've got it. And just hearing that from someone else, especially someone that I've never even met before, goes a long way. And mindset plays a huge part, and a lot of people are now realizing that, and it should be spoken about. It should be spoken about a lot more, because your mind, when you're left on your own, your mind can be a dangerous place with the type of thoughts.
Sometimes it can be too powerful in the wrong way if you don't point it in the right direction.
Yeah, and you can spiral out of control, because all of a sudden you're thinking negative, and you think, oh, for me at the minute, it could be I'm going to keep losing trades here. And the next time I take a trade, I don't analyze it properly. I lose it, and then the negative thoughts come again. So even when you're losing, or even when you're having a bad day at work, or you've cut through the wrong pipe or whatever, take a step back, take a breather, and just be like, right, I've got this. I can do it. I can, what's the worst that's going to happen right now? If you plumb the house up, go turn the water off, isolate it, put a tap in it. Don't think the world's crumbling. Call up your mate and ask for help. Don't be shy. Don't be shy to ask for help.
Problems are there to be solved, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's always someone. The reason why they say, look, like you get wiser as you get older, is because you're making mistakes and you learn from them. That's why you get wiser. You only get wiser from your mistakes. And when you learn something new, you fail at it first, and the only way you learn from it is by failing at it first. And that could be, and you might not think that. When you first soldered something, did it leak? Probably did. Yeah, you failed at it because it leaked. But then you learned from that lesson, and then now when you solder, you might not ever get leaks, or very rarely get a little weep or whatever. But you had to fail first. You had to learn it, fail at it, do it again, and that's how you learn. And people need to realise that, just because things might not be going your way, doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you can't go again. Ask for help, speak to people. It doesn't have to be a family member. Sometimes it's better not to speak to a family member. Drop them a message. And if you're struggling, don't be shy, ask for help. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised the people that will be willing to help you.
I agree with that, definitely. And thankfully nowadays there's a lot more opportunity to speak, with all the different communities that are out there online now. And
exactly.
Life's been tough, physically, as in going out and stuff. But if anything, it's emphasized that the online place does have a part to play in society, doesn't it? With keeping people,
it definitely does. And obviously we're here to help the heroes, and PTSD is such a big thing. We've been at war. We were at war for a very long time in Iraq and Afghanistan, and soldiers have seen battles that we hadn't seen since World War II, and that has an effect on people. They used to write PTSD off, but now they are. They're trying to they accept it now, and don't tell you that you're weak. And please, if anyone is listening to this that does have PTSD, or you think you might have it, just drop me a message. I'll speak to you. Just having a chat with someone can change your day massively, and can make a grey day turn into a nice bright blue day just by speaking to someone and say, this is what's happened, and we can help, have a brew, get you onto the right people, and you know, get you moving forward and enjoying life, you know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. We're coming up to the hour mark now. I think we might be just over it. Is there any closing point you want to make? Any sort of words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with?
You know what? Just don't leave any stone unturned. If you want to go and do something, and go out there and do it, you know. And if it means that you end up failing it and it's not for you, then at least you're giving it a go. Don't have regrets. Don't, you know, when you get into your old age, think, I wish I had done that. You know, go and do it, because you only have one life. Yeah. And if it means you want to have a go at Forex and you want to do that, then have a go at it. Don't, you know, or if you want to go and start a new hobby, go and do it. You want to play golf, go and learn how to play golf. Because, you know, I've seen the best of life, and I've seen the worst of life, and I've seen things that I can't ever unsee. And, you know, just go out there and enjoy yourself. And if you need help, just ask for help. Just get it. And that's it, pretty much.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jason, for taking the time out to share your. You know, it's been a bit of a wild journey. You know, 2 different armies, a career in heating and plumbing, and now a full-time Forex trader. You know, it's been really interesting to hear this side of the discussion. Yeah. As you know, we're here to raise money for Help for Heroes. So please go and donate if you can. You know, we've spoke throughout this hour about, you know, the help that they offer people. You know, so please. I want you to go and donate. And if you want to hear more about Jason and what he's doing, the links for everything is going to be in the description of this. So make sure you go and check out if you're interested. You know, it's certainly a opportunity for people to learn a new skill and get the support system they need. So I'll leave you there, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I really hope you enjoyed the show. I just wanted to pull it out there for anyone listening that I offer business coaching, but also life coaching. My life is centered around something called the 3 Bs, which stands for body, business, and balance. When you work with me as a coach, we tackle all 3 aspects of life. So you as an individual, body, mindset, health, fitness, knowledge, education. Business B obviously stands for your business, improving, maximizing opportunities, elevating, making more money. And balance stands for your friends, family, loved ones, you know, making time for everything in your life. And the 3 Bs is the core element to that. If you'd like to learn more, I would ask you to reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you might be consuming my information. Or you can email me directly at wayne@offthetools.co.uk. I'm here waiting to assist you to elevate across all aspects of life. Have a good one. No excuses. Let's go.